Last week, President Akufo Addo spoke again. This will be the fifth time they say that he spoke to Ghana about COVID-19. As usual, he attracted sound applause from many Ghanaians about this, and it has also generated political commentary. We are tonight going to break down the speech as we did the last time, and thank you all of you who sent us messages when you watched the way in which we broke down the speech the last time, the way in which we analyzed it. So tonight we're going to do the same thing. We've divided the president's speech into 3 or 4 parts, just to remind you of some of the things he said and just to run some commentary on the way in which he said it. So the president began in the first parts that we have picked up. The president began by thanking all kinds of people, and that was very, very soothing, wasn't it? I mean, everyone was waiting for the big announcement, whether he's going to continue lockdown, whether he's going to stop locking down, whatever. And he came and said to all Ghanaians, thank you. This is how he said it.
Tonight, I say thank you to each and every one of you, law-abiding citizens. Let me thank in particular all our frontline actors who continue to put their lives on the line to help ensure that we defeat the virus. To our health workers, I say a big aiko for the continued sacrifices you are making in caring for those infected with the virus and in caring for the sick in general. You are the heroes and heroines of our generation, and government will do all in its power to provide you with the relevant tools to do your work effectively. To the men and women of our security services who have been enforcing the directives by patrolling our streets day and night, conducting surveillance, snap checks, and mounting roadblocks, we're deeply in your debt. It is these security measures that have created the basic framework within which our medical personnel are able to pursue contact tracing, testing, and treatment of persons with the virus, whose implementation offers us the most secure means to defeat the virus.
And then the president came into another part, and the same way we saw last week, getting to this part then, he was getting unhappy. In fact, he said that he's been disturbed by a development around COVID-19. 2 things that he said. He said that the IGP, the Inspector General of Police, and the Chief of Defense Staff have been investigating matters about how Ghanaians or a Ghanaian civilian may have been manhandled by the police. He said that they have recalled that policeman. He said that the senior officers have now been deployed on the ground, and I saw one myself, and you all saw that video in which for the military, a lieutenant colonel, which is a very senior officer, was admonishing people in the trotro to stay at home. I have personally engaged with captains on the road, and I've congratulated them. I didn't know that that was part of a new protocol. But the president said that because of what had happened, much more senior people had been deployed on the road to do the work. And so he was hoping that the new protocols that they have received, which has been written for them, will be obeyed. Then he said something else. He said he was upset, he was angry about people who were posting videos on social media. He actually said that those people will be found out, and he suggested that if they are found out, they'll be dealt with by the law. And he sounded quite angry. Have a look.
However, I'm extremely perturbed by the actions of a few unpatriotic persons who are deliberately passing off and circulating old videos of alleged brutality by members of the security agencies, largely of foreign origin, and presenting them as though there were new incidents by Ghanaian security personnel which have occurred during the course of this past week. It is sad, it is unfortunate, and it must end. We should all be in this fight together, and there's nothing to be gained with widespread fabrication and distribution of such videos, whose sole aim is to create discontent and undermine the trust of the population in the men and women of our security services. Who gains from such conduct? Nobody in their right senses. The law enforcement agencies are determined to locate the originators of these antisocial acts.
After that, the president now gave an update, and the most frightening update he gave was that 15,000 contact tracers are now going to be checked, or that the Ghana Health Service is going to receive information about that. He said that based on the information that we receive, he and his team will now decide what to do with the next level of restrictions protocol. That was quite frightening, 15,000. So if you looked at Facebook immediately after the speech, all of us were making postulations and calculations and analysis. And we all said, okay, if 10% of that get tested for positive, then we're going to have 1,500 in addition to what we already have. Thankfully, we can report today that sometime this afternoon, the first 7,000 were tested, and the result is that 14 of them tested positive after 7,000. We hope that the next 7,000 who will be tested will have lower than 14, and hopefully our numbers would look like Ghana is ahead of the virus and that the virus is not ahead of us. And then eventually we'll be able to say what the medical experts are waiting for, as they say, to flatten the curve. But that's very good news. Let's go back, though, and see how the president broke this announcement to Ghanaians, telling us what had happened with the quarantine people and informing us dreadfully that 15,000 people have been tested and the Ghana Health Service is expecting the results. This is how he said it.
Efforts also at contact tracing have been ramped up over the course of the past week. Indeed, for every confirmed case of COVID-19, all the contacts have been listed, monitored, and tracked. Additionally, in the home or place of work of a confirmed case, all persons, be they at home or at work, have been tested whether they had symptoms or not. Within the locality or neighborhood of a confirmed case, the opportunity is also being provided for persons to undergo voluntary testing to ascertain the extent of community spread. We're thus about to enter a critical phase of our fight in the coming week, as the Ghana Health Service is due to receive the results of some 15,384 out of 19,276 persons who have been reached through contact tracing. It is the results of these tests that will determine our future course of action. Government's policy and measures will continue to be driven by the science in this matter.
After that came the good news and the big story, and that's which has gained political credence and political significance. The president announced what we call a stimulus package. So there will be no water bills for 3 months. And this afternoon at the press conference, Information Minister Kojo Oponkroma had clarified that and even talked about people whose water bills had been, people who have not paid their water bills and therefore their water supply has been interrupted. What happens to them in these 3 months? If you don't know what he said, you should get it and just go on your phone and find it. Because Information Minister talked about it. It's also very good news. But we are going back to the president's speech again and see how he made the announcements of a stimulus package for water for every Ghanaian, additional money for health workers, an insurance package, etc., etc. We call it the first stimulus package for Ghana ever announced in the Fourth Republic under an emergency. It was announced by His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo live when he spoke to Ghanaians from the Jubilee House. That was very, very laudable. This is what he said.
We are in difficult times, and that is why I directed the Minister for Finance to send to Parliament the Coronavirus Alleviation Program, whose objective is to protect households and livelihoods, support micro, small, and medium-sized businesses, minimize job losses, and source additional funding for promotion of industries to shore up and expand industrial output for domestic consumption and exports. Through this program, the Ministries of Gender, Children and Social Protection and Local Government and Rural Development and the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, working with MMDCEs and the faith-based organizations, have begun to provide food for up to 400,000 individuals and homes in the affected areas of the restrictions. This began in Accra today and will begin in Kumasi tomorrow. It will come in the form of dry food packages and hot meals, and will be delivered to vulnerable communities in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, and Kasua. Again, the Ghana Water Company Limited and the Electricity Company of Ghana have been directed to ensure the stable supply of water and electricity during this period. In addition, there will be no disconnection of supply. Furthermore, government will absorb the water bills for all Ghanaians for the next 3 months, i.e. April, May, and June. All water tankers, publicly and privately owned, are also going to be mobilized to ensure the supply of water to all vulnerable communities. Government, in collaboration with the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, business and trade associations, and selected commercial and rural banks, will roll out a soft loan scheme up to a total of 600 million cedis, which will have a 1-year moratorium and 2-year repayment period for micro, small, and medium-scale businesses.
So we hope that you enjoyed our analysis of the president's speech and you like the way we recalibrated his speech in video format. Hopefully we can do it better next time.